What's up guys, my name is Jragon, and welcome back to some more Satisfactory. In the last episode, we built this oil production, which is a giant upgrade compared to our old one that we had over here before. And in between episodes, I actually realized that I'm a little bit of an idiot, because each of these refineries produces 40 heavy oil residue a minute, and initially I thought it produced less than that. So I only had 4 of these refineries going, which only use 30 per minute to make packaged fuel. And if we have 6 of these guys, 30 per minute each on 4 of these is only worth about almost 3 of these guys, basically. So I can double it up. And that's exactly what I did. Initially, I had 6 more refineries taking care of the rest of the oil and turning it into heavy oil residue, then going into all these refineries and turning it into fuel. And then I realized I don't need to do that at all. This 6 alone produces enough heavy oil residue for both of these sides to work simultaneously. And so that's what I did, as I tore down the other 6 and just connected it up the same way how I have it connected down here. And if we go down to the power, you can see that it works just fine. Now we aren't making that much more power compared to last time, because I did actually tear down the old factory down here, which did have 4 more generators hooked up to it, so that is another 1000 megawatts gone. However, we can easily now quadruple this, which is crazy because it uses 180 oil to turn into 480 fuel, and if we quadruple that, it'll be 720 oil turning into 1,920 fuel. And if we do 1,920 fuel divided by 20, that's 96 generators off of 2 pumps, which is crazy. 96 generators would equal just about 24,000 megawatts of power, which is probably more than we'll ever need. And with our current capacity of about 6,000, I don't think we'll need much more at the time being, because we're only consuming about 750 of it. But of course, before we get too far into today's episode, if you guys do end up enjoying it, do let me know down in the comments below. And do be sure to hit the subscribe button as well, because it does help out a ton. Now today I want to start getting the Phase 3 space elevator parts done and completed, which means we are going to have to go back to our little hub and figure out what else we need to unlock, because we don't have a few of the recipes we need, and we're definitely going to need them to make the parts. And I believe to actually do that, I think we need to unlock manufacturing, which will unlock the manufacturer, as well as things like computers and other things that we could automate relatively easily. So if you go back here, you can see we need to get this industrial manufacturing, which will unlock the modular engine and the adaptive control unit, which is the other 2 parts that we need, as well as computer and heavy modular frames. And honestly, it's relatively cheap, so might as well just get that done with it right now. And there we go, there is manufacturing done. Now we can make the other space elevator parts we need, which, if we look up the modular engines, actually relatively easy stuff. Motors, rubber, and smart plating, which we have these 2 automated, and the smart plating are relatively easy. But the only problem is that we need 500 of these, so we need 1,000 motors, 1,000 smart plating, and a lot of rubber. And if we look at the adaptive control unit, that should be relatively easy. We just need automated wiring, circuit boards, heavy modular frames, and computers. So this shouldn't be too bad. We need 100 heavy modular frames, 200 computers, 500 circuit boards, and 500 automated wiring, which isn't actually that bad, but it does mean we do need to automate computers, so that's probably what we're going to be working on today. And of course, automating computers will be a massive help later down the line, so I'm going to use some of these hard drives and try and look for a decent computer alternate recipe, because there is one I've been using before. I think it was this one right here, actually. Just takes circuit boards and crystal oscillators and turns it straight into computers, which that itself is actually relatively simple, so we'll pick that one up. We can just get that researched, and now we can see crystal oscillators take obviously quartz crystals, cable, and reinforced iron plate, which actually isn't too bad. And of course, we do have the pure quartz crystal recipe, which actually not too bad at all. We could use this, which should be actually pretty good. And if my brain serves me right, I do think we have a quartz deposit relatively close through, I believe, this tunnel here. Yeah, you can see we got 2 quartz deposits here. Both of these are pure quartz deposits, so we can get plenty out of this. We're gonna go and get the resources we need, get everything set up how we're supposed to, and I think we'll try and make the oscillator factory somewhere around where we're at right now, because I believe there might be a bit of iron around here. Maybe not. All right. We're gonna take the quartz, we're gonna bring it all the way back where we're supposed to, and we're gonna make the oscillator factory back in our base. Now, that should be relatively easy to do, and it means we can just kind of put it on a train or just leave it where it is and belt it over to where we're going to make the computers at, which should be relatively easy as well. So each of these deposits is making 240 quartz, so that's 480 total. Divided by 37.5 equals about 12.8, and if we do 12.8 times 22.5, which is how much each of those will be making in quartz crystal, you can see that makes 288. And if we do 288 divided by 18, we get 16 crystal oscillators, which each computer only takes 1 anyways, so then that equals out to 16 computers a minute. Now that doesn't mean we are going to need 80 circuit boards per minute, but I do have the circuit board alternate recipe, which just uses caterium wire, which equals out to 8.75 per minute, so we can kind of just cut this down a little bit and eventually just make 10 of these guys, which shouldn't be bad at all. Alright, so we got quite a little bit of work ahead of us. These 2 factories are kind of useless now that I have a lot more of the upgrades able to be made, and actually I'm going to need this caterium to be made into something else, so these 2 factories have to go. Because if we use the iron being produced by these 2 miners right here, we can easily overhaul everything and easily make this a lot better. So we're just going to get rid of these 2 factories right now. And just like that, there is all of that factory gone, and all of it stored in every single one of these containers here. None of these are empty, and the only one that is only half empty is this one right here. Otherwise, every other container is full. Mainly because what we're going to be using is refineries to take care of all of the iron over here, and we're going to be using all of that iron and turning it into both the rotors and the reinforced iron plates once again. However, it'll just be more than it was beforehand. Now all we got to do is rebuild the iron production in a much more efficient way, and the way we're going to be doing that is with the refineries and the pure ores, which should be relatively easy to do. We just need quite a bit of resources, which I think we should probably already have. I'm going to go pick up a few more motors, we're going to get everything up and running, and we should be good to go. Now both of these are pure iron nodes, and if we put Mark II miners on there, we make 240 iron per minute. So if we grab ourselves a refinery, it'll make roughly 30 iron ore per minute to about 56 iron ingots per minute. It's not exactly that even, just because of kind of the thing it's on, but if we can make it start using 30 iron ore per minute, we'll need 16 refineries, which is fine. And I'm just going to go off of 55, so we'll have extra iron. So if we do 16 times 55, it means we'll have 880 iron ingots, which we can easily use to make the rotors and the reinforced iron plates, because we can just split that up to about 440 per factory, and that should be completely fine. We are going to need quite a little bit of space, so we are going to have to build up a little bit, and I'm actually going to go over here and push this back just a touch. So let me get my blueprint designer out. We will start setting up a nice blueprint for everything, and we will get everything all nice and built up. Now the refineries don't need a blueprint because it is just turning the ores into ingots, which is really easy to set up. But I do want to set up something for the constructors and the assemblers, because one constructor of iron pipes can handle 2 assemblers. I know we're taking care of stators over there, so we technically only need to make rotors. And by that logic, we can have 2 rotors assemblers with 5 extra pipes. So we can do 2 constructors, 3 assemblers, which honestly sounds pretty good to me. All right, there's the first blueprint done. And the reason why I have 5 of these is actually because I did my math wrong, as per usual. Each of these rotor assemblers only uses 30 wire per minute and 10 steel pipes. So we can use 2 of the constructors for steel pipes, and then we have enough wire over there being made to handle all of this. We'll be making about 25 rotors per minute, which is pretty good. We'll start off with just a nice large area for us to work with, nothing too massive. And before we get too kind of set into doing this stuff, I do want to get the pipe Mark IIs, just because I will eventually need them, because all of the refineries together add up to 320 water a minute, which we don't actually have, and we're not able to pump through one Mark 1 pipe. I don't want to have a whole new water pipe just for one of these refineries to work, so I'm going to work on getting the Mark 2 pipelines, but that does mean I will have to go and find more of these heavy modular frames, which I could probably go do. And there we go. There is pipelines Mark 2 done. Alright, and that's all of these refineries up and running, although this will take quite a little bit of time to fully fill out just because of how many there are. So to make this all even out and make sure all of these are running at full capacity, we have 560 iron ore coming in because it did overclock just a touch, and it adds up to exactly 16 of these. So if we do 16 times 65, we're actually getting 1,000 iron ingots a minute, which means we can do a lot over here, including take care of not only the rotors and the reinforced iron plates, but also if we felt like it, we can take care of the modular frames as well. All right, now we have all the wire coming in. That should be coming up here in just a second. We should see it start splitting out all of that. Now these guys should start turning on and making us rotors, which is perfect. Now we can slap this guy down, although we are going to need to turn this merger real quick. And there we go. We are now making 25 rotors a minute with only 4 of these refineries that we have, and in this tiny little area right here instead of the big factory that we had beforehand, and it's only using a little bit of iron, a little bit of wire. So this looks and works a lot better, and all we need to do is wait for all the wire to come in and get backed up, and once that happens we should be good to go. Now all we need to do is basically the same thing but for reinforced iron plates, which means we need to make a whole other recipe for that. This is using 50 iron a minute to make 4.1 reinforced iron plates per minute. It's about 12 iron per minute per reinforced iron plate, which is, you know, not bad at all. Now we can set this up in a line pretty much just down this way entirely if we feel like it. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these back a little bit, go grab a little bit more material that I'm missing, and we should be able to just kind of build a ton of these. All right, it's a little ugly, but it's not a big deal. We got all of these guys set up. We only have about 6 of them running at the meantime. So we still have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. We still have half the refineries able to just do whatever we want. And we are making quite the big amount of things. So we're making 25 rotors per minute, and we're making, we're making 24 basically of the reinforced iron plate per minute, which is honestly fine by me. All right, and we shouldn't need too much storage for these. I don't know what I was doing before with the like 8 of these industrial storage containers in a line. Now we just got 1 each, which should be plenty for whatever we're doing, especially because we have all of those over there, which are basically half full of them. So definitely worry about that later. But that is all of that done, and with a little bit of design work, this place actually ends up looking fairly decent. Now this isn't all the way done. This is basically just a facade because all of the rest of this is basically still empty and we still don't have a back to it. But so far I am liking the way this looks, and I think especially once I get a big billboard on there and maybe a few more decorational pieces here and there, we can definitely make it look as good as that building over there. But unfortunately I am out of time for today, so I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, do be sure to hit the subscribe button down below, as it does help out a ton. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you have a good rest of your day or night depending on where you are, and I will talk to you all later.